Good Tuesday morning, everybody watching out there in internet land on Facebook, on YouTube, and everywhere else. Good morning, Mike Sheehan from Ashburton. Wow, it's over. We've finally reached the big dance in Heartland Championship in NPC. Are you exhausted yet?
Yeah, I've just about had enough of rugby for the season.
Oh, I tell you, I'm just so behind the eight ball. Great show on Sunday. Marathon 5.5 hours of talking colourfully. Today is our serious show. Not like we do on a Sunday where we just have an odd beverage, the odd raro, and have a look at the games. And what were we watching on Sunday? Well, we watched the New Zealand Barbarians get up over Samoa by 102 points to 10. Bit of a clinic there by the Barbars over the Samoans. We then had the New Zealand Maori under 18s. It was a good game. It was a bit of a shame that the Heartland under 20s only game they had to go down by 53 points to 24. And then, of course, we had the last game where the, what's their name? I didn't have that all set up. Oh, here we go.
Schools.
The Schools are going down by 38-31. Still like to question what that penalty was for when the guy went and tapped the ball and apparently knocked it on. I still just confounds me because it could have gone either way that game in the end. But so that was a fun Sunday. But then, of course, we're here to have a quick look at what happened for those that didn't see the show on Sunday. The results from the Heartland Championship and East Coast Wairarapa Bush virtual quarterfinal. So, how did you see that game come out? Did you think it was going to be such a high-scoring game and East Coast finally get up, or what?
Yeah, I actually watched it yesterday on. I watched the full game on the stream there. I thought Nadi Pro took a while to get into their work. Wairarapa Bush threw everything at them, but Nadi Pro dug deep and got the home semi, which they'll be rapt about that.
They haven't got the home semi. They're away.
Oh, sorry, no, they're going away. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
but
big game. Big game, that one.
It is, but I did get a text message. Now I haven't seen the final breakdown, but and I didn't take 100% notice of the starting lineups. But did you say to me that Hoana Tamoana played?
Yeah, he come off the bench in the I can't remember when it was, but that surprised me a bit, considering he got a red card the week before, so there'd be something going on there.
Yeah, they must have appealed it because normally a red card is just suspended the following weekend, aren't you? So they must have appealed the red card, went under the radar. I think they were too busy talking about why can't we do a haka that Baby Mackie invented back in 1999, and he's a member of the New Zealand board. As I said, that whole haka scenario was weird. Just weird. But the other game there, we had your boys hosting Poverty Bay. You went out to a really quick lead and then sat on your laurels for the rest of the game. And actually, Poverty Bay won the second half. One of the very few things they've won all season.
Yeah, we started went out to a flyer, but I think they just switched off in the second half, and Poverty Bay come back and scored a couple of tries, and we were kind of floundering, but yeah, we got the win and we got the 5 points, which is always good. So bring on the weekend.
Bring on the weekend. And then we had North Otago hosting Buller down there in Westland, sort of like playing for pride. Saw a post yesterday on the Buller Facebook page. One Jesse Pittman Joyce has signed off his rugby career. He said number 1029 signing off. So he's had an awesome career, played for West Coast as well, and but he's put his hung his boots after a well, you could still say a successful season. He got to lift the Bill Osborne Taonga at the start of the year, and so a good stalwart of Buller Rugby. I'm sure we may see him back in some sort of coaching facility. That's what tends to happen down there in Buller. But North Otago in the wet, they ended up taking the spoils 55-14. Now, other than a really now world famous ball boy in Whitianga, Horowhenua, upset of the weekend, got up over Thames Valley Swamp Foxes by 41-35. Did anybody, i.e., as in, did anybody pick Southland to smash North Harbour? I don't think anybody would have picked Horowhenua to go to Whitianga and walk away with the points.
I certainly didn't. Yeah, it was a good game by the Horowhenua boys. They're peaking at the right time of the season, and they were just too good for the Swamp Foxes. I think we're going to see the Swamp Foxes come out this weekend and really, really take it to Wanganui. That's going to be a doozy. I can't wait for that game either.
Oh yeah, nah, totally, and it'll be interesting too to see who. Oh, how can we put this? About 5 minutes ago, one of the number 8 for Horowhenua was red carded. So it'll be interesting to see if that's going to affect his participation in the semi-final come Saturday. Good morning also to Hamish, who seems to be a regular viewer on our show now. Easy $5 odds. I don't know which game he's talking about. But no, Horowhenua did the business, and they get to host the semi-final. I'll show you the table in a moment. So the other game, though, we had there was West Coast taking on South Canterbury. Now, from all the reports I've heard, because there was no reports coming out of Greymouth on Saturday, West Coast could have totally upset the apple cart here and had almost got away with this win. And that must be really good for them going into the Hawke Cup semi-final defence.
Yeah, I think West Coast can take a lot of heart out of that performance. They dug deep. They didn't get the win. Congratulations to Walsh and his boys on another win, and Willie Wright on his 100th game. But yeah, it just goes to show that teams are getting closer to South Canterbury, and one day they will get beaten.
Oh, totally. And I mean, they are now 1 try away from scoring 50 tries this season. But then you look at Wanganui, and Wanganui are on 58 tries. Now, you can talk stats all day, right? They still went down, even with 58 tries in their back pocket. They have now conceded 29 tries because that King Country mob travelled across the whatever mountain range from Taupo to Wanganui and took the spoils. They got the Bill Osborne Taonga back. It is now locked up for the summer, and also the Pine Tree Log, the Sir Connor Meads Memorial Trophy, to take back. And it's the first time they've actually defended it. So, and the first time they've won up in Wanganui for many a year. King Country unlucky not to be in the Meads Cup. They just missed out by 2 points.
Yeah, the table's tightening up, right? Yeah, that was a good game from King Country, beating Wanganui. I think Wanganui are coming, feeling quite a few injuries at this time of the year. I was reading something on their social media yesterday saying the boys are starting to get a bit tired, and Aleki at number 13 still wasn't at his full fitness. He had a hamstring worry the week before. But, King Country came out to play, and I thought Caleb Foote had a good game off the back of the scrum, 2 tries. He's just come back from injury as well. But, yeah, no, that was a upset that I didn't pick either. And I think we're going to see Wanganui come out this weekend and try and avenge that loss.
Yeah, well, the table is now complete. We now have the full picture. At the start of the season, with Smithy on SENZ, they asked me who my top 4 were going to be. I said South Canterbury, Wanganui, Thames Valley. Hey, I'm looking good so far. And then I said Wairarapa Bush. I always tend to pick up one out of those four and put a bit of a poison chalice on them. I.e., let's go West Coast, win the Meads Cup. And what did they do? They went 0-8 that year. So 3 out of the 4, I've got to be happy with that. But those top 3, I mean, they've been the stalwarts, you know, just circle them every year at the moment. Are we going to, I mean, in Mid-Canterbury, actually, I said Mid-Canterbury, Wanganui, I said we're going to come 5th this year. Sorry, I'm still jaded after Sunday. So I said South Canterbury, Thames, Mid-Canterbury, and Wairarapa Bush. So Wanganui replaced the Wairarapa Bush in my picks. But with the results that we saw Wanganui, with the result that we saw with Thames Valley, how close South Canterbury have been pushed. I mean, sure, we've still got semi-finals to come, but let's just quickly look. Are these teams, I mean, we've got a lot of guys now retiring, i.e. Jesse Pittman-Joas from Buller, as an example. Are these top 4 teams, or the top 3 teams, would we be seeing the end of eras with these guys? Are we going to see new coaching structures in 2025? And if so, from the teams, i.e. Mid-Canterbury down to West Coast, out of those teams, who do you think are going to maybe replace 2 of those teams?
Yeah, well, I'm not too sure about the coaching side of it. We've just got new coaches this year, so hopefully they'll stick around for another year. But I think last year Nigel Walsh was keen on hanging up the whistle, but he's back for another year. I'm not too sure what he's going to do next year, but it'll be cool to see all the coaches sticking for at least another year. But you know, obviously there's new coaches coming through, assistant coaches, managers, and what have you. So obviously they'll go through the recruitment process at the end of the year again, and looking forward to moving on to next season.
Yeah, well, and next season, that is what's going to happen with North Otago, Wairarapa Bush, Buller, and Poverty Bay. Poverty Bay, I'm sort of digging through the record books. I think they could be the first Heartland team not to actually score a competition point. I think East Coast had done it a couple of times, but I think it's the first time Poverty Bay haven't scored an actual competition point. 6 bonus points for them for the season, finishing 0-8, 5 from the tries, and a loss bonus. Yeah, it's going to be tough for Maya to get these guys up and running. They were showing glimpses again, but we're just so close, you know, all season. I think I got my try bonuses and my loss bonuses around the wrong way, because I'm sure they had several games where they just lost. But Buller, yeah, they've had a okay season. You know, they can still walk away with their heads held high. Wairarapa Bush have been the disappointment this year. I mean, really, there were a couple of games there which they should have won. They went down to Horowhenua in the final minute. That was the telling point for Wairarapa Bush's. Sorry, that was West Coast. Wairarapa Bush just didn't fire a shot. North Otago, perennial semi-finalists in either Meads or Lahore. Yeah, again, they seemed to be rebuilding. Didn't like travelling around the region of North Otago now. What do you call it? Whitestone's been pulled down and rebuilt like South Canterbury's Fraser Park. But yeah, it's all on. So at 2:30 on Saturday afternoon in Taupo, let's just dive straight into it. We've got King Country hosting East Coast.
Yeah, well, this is going to be a tight game to pick. Both sides are going good. Sky Blues are peaking, or both teams are peaking. To be fair, who am I going to pick? Oh, I'm going to have to stick with East Coast on this one, just to keep Kahu happy.
Yep. Well, no, I'm going to go East Coast. Sorry, Josh Standen and friends at King Country, but I'm going to go East Coast because I've actually just noticed that I was in such a rush this morning. I've actually got East Coast and West Coast around the wrong way. You might be saying, what do you mean? East Coast got 4 wins, West Coast have only got 3. The tiebreaker there is hoop, well, the result first before point differential or wins. And West Coast did beat East Coast earlier in the season, so that's why King Country are playing East Coast in 8th place, not in 7th. And a win to East Coast will then mean the winner of Horowhenua playing West Coast will get to host the Lahore Cup final. So it's in Levin at 2:30. If West Coast can tip up Horowhenua, this is what I was trying to say earlier. West Coast want to repay because Horowhenua got up over West Coast in the final minute at John Sturgeon Park in the season. I think it was, what was it, 17-16 or 18-16 or something. And yeah, so I'm going to go for the Mitre red and white and return to John Sturgeon Park then to host Diplo East Coast again at John Sturgeon for the second time this season in the Lahore Cup final.
Yeah, hopefully we. Yeah, it's a looking that way. Hopefully we can see Fletcher Carpenter back for the Sky Blues. And I'm not sure where he was last week, but his replacement had a pretty good game. Yeah, no, hopefully they've all come through last week's game and they're all fit to go, and there's not too many injuries, which is hard to manage at this time of the year.
Yep, that's so true. And so I'm really looking forward to that. There'll be live feeds from Levin and Taupo, so keep an eye out for that. I'm still tossing up whether I'm going to go to Levin or not. So if I'm not, we'll be here. We'll be covering it all for you on Rugby Chat on Saturday afternoon. Then we got the big dance. We got the Meads Cup. So first off, we'll go Wanganui, Thames Valley at Cook's Gardens. We all remember what happened to Thames Valley last season in the Meads Cup semi-final. Wanganui just blew Thames Valley off the park. Thames Valley changed up their pre-game routine in Whitianga, which sounds like it came back and bit them on the bum. They probably thought they were going to go out surfing or something like that while enjoying an Airbnb. But that has actually probably given the coaches a few bit of ammunition going into such a huge match against the Butcher Boys. Can they turn this around? Both teams finished on 31 points. Both teams finished 6-2. Wanganui got up over Thames Valley to host the semi-final by beating them 16-14 in Thames. Wanganui 10 more tries. They probably came in that big win over Buller. So you can't separate these two really if you dive into all the stats. I'll let you go first, Wanganui or the Swamp Foxes?
Well, last year it was an absolute annihilation by Wanganui of Thames Valley. If they play like that again this year, on Saturday, they're going to win it, and they're going to win it easy. And saying that, they've been struggling with injuries over the last 2 or 3 competition rounds. I'm going to have to go with Wanganui on this one. But yeah, no, we all know what Thames Valley are capable of on their day. They're a very very good side, and they like to run the ball around and all that sort of carry on. And they've got Matty Exton's in the front, leading from the front. So yeah, no, but I'm going to plumb for Wanganui on this one. I think they're going to come back and yeah.
Yeah, well, I will go for the Swamp Foxes because they currently pay the bills. And if I don't pick them, don't know if bills will get paid. But no, I will plump for them because I think they will bounce back after that defeat to Horowhenua Kapiti. I think it was a defeat they probably needed to keep their feet on the ground, if that makes sense, and to spur them on for a big test against Wanganui at Cook's Gardens at 2:30. At 1:30. That game will be live. I've just double checked the programming guide. It looks like it's going to be live only on Sky Open, which is free to air on Channel 4. So you'll be able to watch that game. And then at 3:30, We've got South Canterbury playing for some guys called Mid Canterbury from Ashburton. I wonder which way you're going to go there, Mike.
Oh, I have to pick Mid Canterbury, mate. But yeah, I'll be lying. I'll be lying if I said it wasn't going to be a tough challenge. It's going to be a almighty challenge. South Canterbury are flying, and back at Fraser Park, they'll have that place packed out, and it's going to be yeah. Well, we get another shot at them, so we need to get the job done.
It's an interesting game, this one, because this has got a bit of the Thames Valley Horowhenua feel to me about it. Only because, you know, you're going to get a big crowd. It's a semi-final of the Meads Cup. You're looking at hopefully striking up win number 40. South Canterbury are currently on 39. And, but yeah, I mean, you can't sort of discount the master and Nigel Walsh and how he's going to have his boys running.
I think he'll be looking to pick his strongest available team with what he's got. I've seen last week when they played the coast, there was a couple of surprise omissions that I can't comment on why, but yeah, hopefully they're available for this week, and both teams can pick the strongest sides available, and they have a good ding-dong battle.
Yeah, well, the other thing is, too, a win here for South Canterbury would give them basically 3 big weekends in a row at Fraser Park. A good way to start paying the $8.5 million it costs to revamp it, with the game against Ngāti Porou last weekend, wherever they played, I can't even remember now, and semi-final and then a final, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
Oh, that's right, they played West Coast, but yeah, so 3 out of 4 games back at Fraser Park, so that's half a season already done, and they were worried they weren't going to get any games at Fraser Park. So if they can finish playing 3 games there, they'll be very happy. So I'll go South Canterbury, and unfortunately, Mike, and if you want to run away now, you can, because I'm going to say by 15 points.
All right. We'll see what happens on Saturday. I'll go Mid Canterbury by 5.
Yeah, but the great thing is we've had awesome regular season. You'll see at the bottom of this table here, I have got some little stats, which, you know, everyone loves a good stat. So we've had an average score line of 65 points per game over the 48 matches. Tries per, almost 9.5 tries per game, which is just absolutely crazy. 73 bonus points were awarded in the 2024 season. And so I'll have to just go back, because I think this has probably been one of the highest scoring Heartland seasons we've had in a very long time. And, you know, when you look at these tries being scored, and that, you know, every team in that top 4 have scored 40 plus tries, which is crazy. And, you know, a couple of tries to Thames Valley even in the weekend would give them 50. So, you know, if 150 tries for the top 3 teams. Well,
Mid Canterbury have had a good season. I mean, we've reached the Meads Cup semi-final for the first time in, I think it's 9 years. So, and we've probably had one of our better seasons this year, which was a credit to the coaching team.
It must have been the New Jerseys.
Oh yeah,
an old one.
New Jersey. New Jersey's new coaches. So yeah, so, we can only go up from here.
Yep. Now, I have we've got a couple of questions here, and here's a good one from our good friend William from the Tanny Fan on tour. Tanny Fars. How does Te Whiti Nabura keep swapping teams? MPEC to Northland and then back to MPEC. What are the rules around mid-season transfers? Well, William, I'll jump straight into this because I have investigated this myself. Because there was one chap called Joe Royal who played for Auckland. Then he played for East Coast. Then he went back the following weekend and played for Auckland. He then went back and played for East Coast. And then he went off and played for Moana Pacifica. Then he went back to Auckland and came back and played for East Coast. And I'm thinking, hang on, how does this work? It is from where the player is first registered. So if Tavita Nabura is a lone player for Ngāti Porou East Coast out of Northland Taniwha, and Northland Taniwha say, we need him back this weekend, Ngāti Porou need to pack his bags and send him back to Whangarei to play the game. After he's played that game, he can pack his bags and come back and play for Ngāti Porou East Coast. So basically, he would have been already designated as a lone player for Ngāti Porou, and that is why he was able to chop and change between the two, i.e. as was Joe Royal. Because there's a couple of times there you saw Joe Royal, not this year per se, but you know, he had last year played for Auckland and Moana Pacifica. So that's where that all stems from. So hopefully that has answered this question. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen this weekend. Good luck to all the Heartland teams. And of course, we've also got, and only because I'm really slack, because I'm still suffering from Sunday's show, we can have a quick look at these NPC results from the weekend. Now, I'm just looking up the old tribe app here because it's just as quick, and I do update the tribes, so that's another reason why I may be home on Saturday. But it started off with Otago getting the win over Northland by 31-28. Did pick that, but I'm sure Otago thought that was a bit too close for them because the Taniwha had a good season, but fell short, and the Blue and Golds are now sitting pretty with a quarterfinal coming up.
Yeah, that was a brave win, I thought, Rabs. I thought Cam Miller and Finn Hurley played exceptionally well, but yeah, good to see that Otago get the win.
Well, yeah, because the thing is, I just said a quarterfinal, but they were sitting in quarterfinal position at that stage, and unfortunately, with all the results going the other way, they ended up missing out, and Otago actually ended up finishing 9th, which was a shame for them. They had a good season, picked up quite a few decent wins. On Saturday afternoon, the team that knocked them out basically was Counties Manukau. Huge win over Manawatu, 45-26. But it was the return, everyone was just talking about it, the return of Cam Roygard, dotting down for a couple of tries and re-earning his place in the AB's Northern Tour.
Yeah, he looks good, doesn't he? He's looks like he's recovered well from his injury, and he played a typical Cam Roygard game, running them around from the base of the scrum and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, no, congratulations on his return, and all the best for the tour. I see he's been picked in the All Blacks, so that's got to be good.
Yeah, well, we'll have a quick look at this at the squad after we've just announced a couple more teams here. South of North Harbour, we did just touch on that earlier, but hell, 40-0 at one point. This really threw out all the tipping comps I'm in. Nobody, well, some of the bigger comps, law of averages, some people did pick Southland, but majority of people just thought this was a done and dusted deal for North Harbour. All I saw there at 40-0 was how many dozen oysters did the North Harbour boys eat while they were down in Invercargill?
Yeah, no, it was a great win by South, and they deserved that one. Player of the day for me was Michael Manson. He's I think he's got more wheels than Nabura.
I know, it was just crazy. But then, of course, North Harbour game of two halves, you could say, because North Harbour was 47-7 at half time, and the full-time score ended up being 59-35. So North Harbour came out and played in the second half, but Southland far too strong, and a good way for them to end their season. So that game was on at the same time as my mighty Wellington Lions. So I turned it over, and Hawke's Bay are leading 21-0. And I'm going, okay, am I in some sort of third dimension here? What the hell's going on? And I'm thinking, Wellington, you're at home against Hawke's Bay, who have been thrashed, and you are down by 21 points to 0. I then blinked and we were back up 22-21. And I went, oh, okay, the universe is starting to balance itself out again. But they did hold on to win 46-28 to get that home quarter-final. And funnily enough, the home quarter-final is going to be again, oh, they're playing Counties. I don't know why I had Hawke's Bay in my head there. But they're playing Counties in the quarter-final on Saturday, or Friday night, actually, I think it is it? Yeah, Friday night. Oh, I might go to that game. Yeah, Wellington, yeah, they finished the season top of the table, but just there's something, I can see wobbly wheels.
Yeah, you'll be happy with that one. Yeah, I thought Wellington played well. Unlucky Hawke's Bay, but yeah, the White Rabbit will be happy.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they're playing a team that absolutely smashed them up at Pukekohe. So, are they going to repay the favour on Friday night, Wellington, and maul them at the Lions Den at the stadium? I guess time will tell. The other game there, Canterbury did pick this over Waikato by 36 points to 19. Sorry, I just saw a message pop up. I don't know. I might need to check this. But 36 points to 19, Canterbury over Waikato. Is Canterbury now doing their normal come from behind to take out the championship?
Yeah, well, that was a good win by Canterbury. They just bashed away at Waikato on, I think, was it Waikato who got the yellow card? But yeah, that could have been a turning point in that game. But I'm not a Canterbury supporter, but I'll give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, and as I said, the bloody red and blacks, they could be dead last all year and then come through and win the whole bloody thing. So, you know, though, like the Crusaders, you've got to start looking over your shoulder when you know Canterbury's in a playoff situation, eh? And then we had Auckland Bay of Plenty at the Auckland Grammar School. Great crowd at the school grounds.
Oh, I didn't actually see that game. You have to give me a rundown. You're Auckland's #1 supporter.
Well,
and we were having a big discussion about why it's been played at a grammar school, but I can't see the reasoning behind that. But someone will be able to enlighten us.
Yeah, well, but Bay of Plenty got up to win that by 26-24 to win the John Drake boot, and really for the first time ever. I feel so sad saying this. For the first time ever, Auckland have not made the playoffs since the inception of the NPC in 1992 in its current format.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I'm so sad. Oh, could I be happier?
Get your violin out.
Yeah. Wellington can get beaten now. I don't care. Auckland couldn't even make it to the final dances, so I'm a happy man. And of course, though, who is not happy are the boys from Tasman. They had 2 Shield challenges in Storm Week. They got up over the first one, over Auckland, and then they had to take on Taranaki, and Taranaki just blew them off the park.
Yeah, I think, congratulations to the Bulls again. I think I see they had a few flight problems getting home, but they made it eventually. And I think what Neil Barnes said about having two games within a week is disrespectful to the Shield. I think he's hit the nail on the head there. But yeah, it's just the way the draw works, unfortunately.
It is, but then in saying that, and our good friend Winger did allude to it, back in the day, there was quite often Canterbury, when they would, forever hold the Shield, often play a Wednesday and a Saturday game for the Ranfurly Shield. So it's not a new thing. And, hey, with the squads the way they are now, with 50,000 people in each team, they should be able to, what do you call it? Shuffle up the teams so they can put out a good challenger or a good defence. So, and Tasman, they did have 3 All Blacks back. And David Harvey, David Harvey.
Callum
I
Gross.
can't remember the other. No.
Oh, no, he's a Canterbury. He's a Canterbury
Tasman.
boy.
Yeah. Oh, God, I can't even think of who the 3 were now. I know one of them was David Harvey. Oh, no, that's just completely gone out of my brain. Now, I might have to bring up the lineups here so I can try and refresh. Oh, Ethan Blackadder.
Yeah, that's the
And
one.
David Harvey and who was the other one? Molly? No. Who was the other one?
Have a look.
Oh, Hotham. But then
No,
Hotham was dropped. Yeah, Hotham was dropped out of the All Blacks. So, yeah, so it's all looking good. So it starts on Friday night at the Cape Tin. Wellington taking on Counties Manukau. And then on Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock, Battle of the Bays. Bay of Plenty, Hawke's Bay. You'd have to say Bay of Plenty at home there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Bay of Plenty. That'll keep Marcus happy.
Yep. And then Taranaki Waikato. This could be the match of the round. It is a home game. It is at the home of the new Ranfurly Shield holders, but it is not, okay? It is not a Ranfurly Shield challenge because you cannot challenge for the Shield in playoff football. So Taranaki can show it all off to all the fans and it will still be there, win, lose or draw.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Taranaki again. I think if they play like they played last Saturday, they will beat Waikato quite easily. But in saying that, we can't discount Waikato. They've got a lot of classy players. Aaron Cruden, I see he's back floating around. D'Angelo Luila, he's still there. Running all sorts of crazy lines and all sorts of crazy offloads like the quality player he is. But yeah, that's going to be a good showdown, I think.
It just popped into me head. I tell you what, Aaron Cruden and his Zimmer frame, I tell you, Zimmer frames can tip up a few people. I'm just still amazed how he's still running around. You've got to give big ups to Aaron Cruden, still pulling on the boots. 1 minute he's a commentator, next minute he's back on the field. So that's interesting. And of course, Tasman, they are back back in Blenheim to host the Might of Canterbury. Are they going to do what Hawke's Bay did and have losing the Shield hangover?
I think Canterbury will be far too strong for Tasman.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah, no, I think Canterbury will be too strong. They have a sniff now at a semi-final, and they'll be wanting to go all out with a possibility of the first seeded quarterfinalist playing the 4th seeded winner, which would be Canterbury because they finished 8th or whatever it was. We could be looking at a Wellington Canterbury semi-final. That would please Winger. But also then we've also had the final of the Farah Palmer Cup, and the winner for 2024 is Waikato over Canterbury by 27-25. It was a humdinger final.
Yeah, congratulations to the Waikato girls. It was a great game.
Yeah, well, they they hadn't held the Shield, held the Farah Palmer Cup for a couple of years now. I'm just quickly going back. I think it was 2021 was the last time they held the Farah Palmer Cup, when they also beat Canterbury down in Canterbury. So to do it on their home turf was pretty amazing. So I can get rid of that anyway because we've got a couple of international teams to announce on today's show. And the first one is the New Zealand Police men's rugby squad has been announced this morning. And you look at this as the forward pack, and we're looking at this forward pack, and there are some actually amazing names in here. Manian Iman, he's played for East Coast and Poverty Bay. I'm sure that, Charlie Tuala has played for counties at some point. Tim Ursig, I'm sure he's a Swamp Fox.
Yeah, he's been around a wee while in the police team, and I see we were talking about this before the show. Tava and that other fellow there, and Tupper and Jaden Milner.
So yes, Jaden Milner, Ngāti Porou, East Coast and Poverty Bay. Didn't even. I thought he was a timber, lumberjack. But but no, he's in the police now, and same with Tuffer. I had no. They've got him down as Wellington, so that must be for Wellington Police Region. So here's Wairarapa Bush. Had a great season with Wairarapa Bush, bursting runs up through the centre. So that is the New Zealand police team. So where are they off to, you might ask? And you look at the games here. They play North. They get a trip to Australia. So they get to play North Rugby. They get to play Queensland Police, and then on the 22nd of October they get to play the Australian Police. Okay. I know the police is a government department. I don't have a problem with the New Zealand Police Rugby team. But how can the New Zealand Police Rugby team get a tour to go to Australia and the New Zealand Heartland team get 2 games in Wanganui against the New Zealand Barbarians and the Maori selection? Sure.
Take note, NZR.
Yeah. I mean, if the New Zealand police can, have some sort of fund that they can afford to do this, good on them. I don't have a problem. But the problem I have here is a couple of years ago, they had a quick game against New Zealand police. And I think New Zealand police actually beat them.
What? Who's at the Heartland?
Yeah.
No. Last time they played the police, they got thumped by the Heartland. I think it might have been 2 years. 2 years ago, maybe.
It was only a couple of years ago. But the thing is, I can't remember the result. Too many rugby games have passed since then. But then that was the games they had in Methven and all that stuff. But then Australia, the police team then went for a tour around Australia, and it was just like, okay, that doesn't make sense. But anyhow, maybe this is just another thing where Heartland need to get a. I mean, they could have gone on this tour as well. You know what I mean? The amount of money it's going to cost them to send them to spend a week and a half in Wanganui, the flights alone would be probably cheaper to go to Australia. Let's be honest. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see where they have their training camp for those 2 games. They'll probably have it up in Wanganui.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'd say 100%. Yeah. So, but not only that, they've also announced a New Zealand Police Women's Rugby team. Now, unsure who's who here. Just having a quick squiz through the game, through all the players. We've got Pietau, Auckland. Is that related to Charlie? But yeah, but we've got mostly Aucklanders, a couple of Cantabrians in there, but mostly up from the Auckland region. Good on them. They're going again. They've got just the 3 management, and again, they're playing the same matches as curtain raisers with the men. So, they're sending 2 teams, 2 squads, 2 managements to have fun on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, that's a good chance for the New Zealand police girls to represent their country and have a tour. I think this is the first time I've seen them play, so it'll be interesting to see how they go.
Oh, totally. And I honestly think it could be comment in the comments if we're wrong, but I think this is the first New Zealand women's police team. So congratulations to all for getting it together, even though it looks like it's predominantly Auckland. But anyhow,
Mm.
the big one though is the All Blacks. Okay, so our squad has been announced for the upcoming tour to Japan, Italy, France, England, I think. Wales, Ireland. I can't remember who they're even playing.
Yeah, Ireland.
It's in the north. So I was surprised to see Sam Cane and TJ. I thought, okay, they might go and play in Japan, because that's where they're heading. But it sounds like they're there for the whole tour. Only, as I said, only the one change coming back in, and that was Cam Roygaard for Noah Hotham. Is there a sense of, here's your retirement holiday, Mr. Kane and company, Mr. Perenara, etc.? Because to me, there could have been an opportunity to blood like 3 bolters.
Yeah, well, I was actually quite surprised to see Sam Cane in there. The winger won't be happy with that selection, but yeah, it's good to see. I'm just looking at the team now. It's good to see Billy Proctor in there and Stephen Perifetta. They've both had solid campaigns for their respective NPC sides. But yeah, other than that, it's a pretty strong squad. Bowden Barrett, McKenzie, Geordie Barrett's obviously back from injury. Well, he'll be back from injury by the time they leave. So who else have we got in there? Oh, yeah, Stevie Reese, Luke Jacobson, Sam Darry, Wallace Atiti, Dalton Papali'i. Yeah, I was quite surprised to see him in there actually.
Well, I'm still out with Wallace Atiti. I suppose you do have Dalton Papali'i there. In the what do you call it? In the forwards. But Satiti has sort of grown into that number 6 jersey quite well. I'll see how he performs over there in Europe before I come out. Mark Talia, again, human turnstile down there for North Harbour. But then again, it'll be just like him to score the winning try against the French. So
possibly.
Yeah. But otherwise, as I said, a bit of a, what do you call it? A bit more relaxed show today after our rant and rave on a Sunday afternoon, which is always fun, So we look forward to the semi-finals of Lahore Cup this weekend. As I said, half of these jerseys are going to disappear behind me. Which ones are they? Well, I'm sure you're hoping that one's gone. Stage left, as they say.
Yeah.
We're left with that one. I did promise you I'd show you the Mid-Canterbury jersey. So there you go. Happy?
That's an old one.
even though it's an old one. But any last words? Any last thoughts on how you thought the regular season went in Heartland, seeing this is a Heartland show?
Yeah, I think that this season it's been quite a high scoring season. A lot of tries, a lot of big scores. But yeah, all in all, it's been a good season. We've seen a lot of promising players come through, and put their name up to be counted for higher honours, i.e. Heartland and Heartland 15, and obviously Super Rugby and what have you. But yeah, now we're at the crunch end of the season. This weekend is going to be. It's going to be a really, really good weekend for Heartland Rugby. We've got 8 teams going into battle for their respective semi-finals, and I wish them all good luck. It's going to be a great weekend of rugby. I probably won't go down to Fraser Park now that you've told me it's been televised. So I'll just park up here with a box of beer and watch one game after another game. And but good luck to everyone this weekend. The officials and teams, managers, and I hope you all have. Smooth flight plans and travel arrangements, and there's no disruptions because we don't need that at this time of the year.
No. So Air New Zealand, take note. Make sure they get there on time. So basically, as I said, we could be back on air on Saturday. If we are, I'll drop you a note. But if we're not, good luck to everybody. Until Saturday, maybe. We'll leave it at that. Thank you again, Mike, for joining us.
No worries, mate. Take it easy.
And we will, yeah, we'll go and then we'll finish up. So catch us later.
Up the